Good evening and many thanks for joining us. I am Ansumana Esonyasi and this is QTV Nightly News. And a reminder that you can also join us on Q Radio 103.3 FM. Here are the main news headlines. President Adama Barrow presided over the official swearing-in ceremony of 4 key public officials, including the new foreign minister and IEC chairman at the State House in Banjul on Thursday, following their recent appointments. The Civil Service University, formerly known as the Management Development Institute, on Wednesday validated its first ever strategic plan for the period 2026 to 2030. The Gambia's National Hajj Commission has launched preparations for the 2026 Hajj, highlighting key updates on major Hajj-related matters. And the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Gambia hosted the 7th China-Gambia Youth Bantaba to empower youth and boost China-Gambia ties. The former Brikama Area Council's CEO Modu Jonga appeared before the Local Government Commission following ex-chairman Sirifo Sonko's testimony earlier in the week to address the alleged misuse of over $33 million meant for mining-affected communities. Stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. And now here's the news in detail. President Adama Barrow presided over the official swearing-in ceremony of 4 key public officials, including the new foreign minister and IEC chairman at the State House in Banjul on Thursday, following their recent appointments. Usman Jatta was at the State House and he tells us more.
The newly appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Sering Modunjai, along with Joseph Colley, the new chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, and his vice chairman, Cherno Mamadou Jallo, and Aissatou Jammeh, commissioner of the Victims Reparations Commission, all took their oath of office and secrecy publicly, firming their commitment to serve the nation with integrity and transparency and dedication. The ceremony was attended by senior government officials, cabinet ministers and family members. President Barrow emphasized the significance of strong, accountable leadership in advancing democratic reforms and strengthening national institutions.
Public officials that when entrusted with public office, it is obligatory to serve diligently, with sincerity, and uphold the confidence and trust repose in us. It is through the institutions we render public service that we can showcase the Gambia as a model country where good governance stand out as a solid pillars of advancement and development.
President Barrow reminded the appointees of the weight of their responsibilities and urged them to remain committed to national service.
I trust that Honorable Njai is experienced enough to take off from where his predecessor left off and will fly the Gambian flag higher. For you, the IEC chairman and deputy chair, the nation look forward to fulfilling its desire for sustainable electoral reforms and strengthening electoral processes.
The swearing-in of the IEC leadership comes ahead of the crucial 2026 electoral cycle. President Barrow highlighted the pivotal role of the IEC in upholding democratic principles, stressing that transparency and credibility in elections are vital for sustaining public trust. Commissioner Aissatou Jammeh, now joining the newly formed Victims Reparations Commission, is expected to contribute meaningfully to the Gambia's transitional justice process. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is expected to steer the country's foreign policy agenda, focusing on diplomacy, regional cooperation and strategic alliances that promote national development. Speaking on behalf of the newly appointed officials, Minister Sering Modunjai expressed gratitude to the President for the trust placed in them.
When we are executing our different functions and mandates, we should always put that at the back of our mind, that the Gambian people are watching, and we should serve what has been already given to us as Gambian people. Let us take this opportunity once again to thank the President Vice President and Cabinet, and also Gambian people.
The newly sworn-in public officials now face the task of initiating reforms, promoting progress and enhancing productivity. They are expected to build on best practice, address institutional shortcomings and deliver results that will drive national development forward. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
Now, the Civil Service University, formerly known as the Management Development Institute, on Wednesday validated its first ever strategic plan for the period 2026 to 2030, marking a key milestone in its transition into a fully accredited university. Usman Jatta again.
The government's ongoing efforts to transform the MDI into the Civil Service University CSU are part of a broader civil service reform agenda aimed at professionalizing and modernizing the Gambia's public sector. The new university is set to provide degree programs, continuous professional development and research opportunities tailored to the needs of public service institutions. This roadmap, according to stakeholders, will serve as guide to the institution's development and operations for the period 2026 to 2030. Fatu Ebari, Deputy Provost of CSU, described the strategic plan as a fundamental tool in redefining the university's role in capacity building for the civil service.
It is through this strategic plan we aim to communicate to our wider community the direction we choose for our new CSU. This plan outlines the vision, which is centered on 5 strategic priorities as follows: institutional sustainability, governance and partnership, infrastructure, digital and transformation, faculty development and research innovation, academic excellence and curriculum reform, and finally, graduate employability and academic progression.
Structured around 5 strategic pillars, the plan aligns with CSU's mission to become a specialized institution dedicated to strengthening human capital within the Gambia's public administration. A dedicated committee has been set up to oversee and coordinate the strategic transformation. Burama LJ Jame is chair of the CSU Governing Council.
This validation exercise is a critical phase in the strategic planning process. It provides the opportunity to test our assumptions, refine our vision, and ensure that the strategy we pursue is grounded in reality, inclusive in perspective, and truly national in scope.
Professor Per Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, emphasized the importance of collective action to ensure the successful implementation of the strategic plan.
This document is far more than a planning tool. It is a statement of purpose, direction, and institutional resolve. It defines CSU's mission to become a center of excellence in public administration, governance, and service delivery, producing a new generation of professionals grounded in competence, ethics, and innovation, and capable of driving meaningful transformation across the public sector.
The validation of the strategic plan held at Sindola Lodge in Fonyi-Kanilai marks a pivotal point in the history of the former MDI and the future of the Gambia's civil service. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
Now, the National Hajj Commission of the Gambia has officially launched preparations for the 2026 Hajj season, outlining important updates on registration procedures, payment plans, visa processing and accommodation arrangements for pilgrims. Mahmoud Gajaga attended the press briefing at the Supreme Islamic Council and he now reports.
The National Hajj Commission has called on all licensed Hajj operators to begin the registration process, payment of fees and travel arrangements for the 2026 Hajj season to ensure a smooth pilgrimage for Gambian pilgrims traveling to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Key issues addressed at the press briefing included the Gambia's quota of 2,000 pilgrims, the responsibility of operators, the registration deadline, and ongoing logistical preparations. Fode Cisse, the Secretary General of the National Hajj Commission, provided further updates on these developments.
Previous years, you all know, passport come maybe in January, February, people start getting passport or sorting passport in the system. This year it has changed. Starting from October 1st, the system will be open for people to slot their passport in the system. 1st March is the deadline of submitting all visas. From February 1st till March on the 1st, it's a deadline of printing visas.
Mr. Cisse also noted that Saudi authorities have stressed the importance of ensuring that all intending pilgrims are in good health before making the journey.
Kidney problems, old age, people with disabilities, and things like that, those are very important key things that Saudi Ministry of Hajj want to make sure that people with serious health conditions should not embark in this spiritual journey.
During the 2025 Hajj, some Gambian pilgrims voiced dissatisfaction with the food and accommodation provided, with a few sharing their frustrations on social media. In response, Ibrahima Jeju, the Amirul Hajj of the Gambia, acknowledged the concerns, but explained that such challenges, particularly with food and weather, are common during Hajj. He noted that the issue was mainly about pilgrims not being accustomed to the type of meals served during Hajj. Amir Jeju also urged Hajj operators to train some of their pilgrims on how to use elevators before departure, help avoid confusion, and ensure smoother movement.
Satisfying people with food is challenging because of the individual preferences. For example, imagine someone in the Gambia being given an apple which they are not accustomed to eating. The apple might be good for them, especially if paired with a drink. Some people will say the food is good, while others may find it unappealing.
The Amirul Hajj also has this message to the Gambia Hajj operators.
The Hajj process is managed entirely by Saudi Arabia, including registration deadlines and all related procedures. If the registration is closed, there is nothing we can do to change that.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, through its Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, officially concluded the 2025 Hajj season on the 9th of June and simultaneously launched preparations for the 2026 pilgrimage. The Gambia was represented at the ceremony by officials from the National Hajj Commission and the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
And a report there by Mamudu Gajaga on the National Hajj Commission will lead us to the commercial break. But when we return, we have more national news stories. Do stay tuned and join us after the break.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taaw place bi bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taamu gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
We are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, paying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, passionate about your investment. We've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Gambia hosted the 7th edition of the China-Gambia Youth Bantaba on Wednesday, aimed at empowering Gambian youth and further strengthening bilateral ties between China and the Gambia. Here is Usman Jata for more on that.
China continues to expand its diplomatic and developmental engagement with the Gambia, with a strong focus on youth empowerment as another pillar of its bilateral cooperation through investments in education, health, agriculture, and most recently, cultural and academic exchanges. Over 600 Gambians have benefited from opportunities to study, train, and collaborate in China this year. The China-Gambia Bantaba serves as an informal yet impactful cultural diplomacy platform, bringing together youth leaders, students, entrepreneurs, security personnel, and media practitioners to engage in dialogue and exchange. At the event, Chinese Ambassador Liu Jin highlighted the mutual benefits of the relationship, stating that empowering young people helps to sustain long-term peace, cooperation, and development between the two nations.
The next year marks the 10th anniversary of the resumption of diplomatic relations between China and the Gambia. The most important lessons we could learn from these 10 years is that we must jointly lay the solid foundation for China-Gambia relations. The political foundation is one China principle. The economic foundation is a mutual beneficial and win-win economic cooperation. The social foundation is mutual understanding and friendship.
During the ceremony, the embassy presented certificates of admission to this year's first cohort of Gambian awardees for undergraduate and doctoral scholarships under the Chinese government scholarship program. These scholarships cover key areas such as medicine, agriculture, and information technology, all essential to the Gambia's development priorities. Professor Per Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, commended the Chinese government for its consistent support to the Gambia's human capital development.
When you go to China, you now understand that education is not just about the acquisition of knowledge. Education is about also acquiring character, high sense of discipline, high sense of patriotism, ready to serve the Republic.
Since the launch of these initiatives, dozens of Gambians, including journalists, artists, civil servants, and entrepreneurs, have visited China, building people-to-people ties and exchanging ideas to enhance mutual understanding. Several notable speakers took to the stage to share their experiences. Among them were Mamadou Choi, a former participant of the China International Press Communication Center Fellowship, Ndei Fatu Jabang, founder of the Flex Fusion Dance Group.
For me, China represents an opportunity, a bridge between cultures, a partner in progress, and a voice that increasingly speaks to the aspirations of the global South.
One of my key takeaways from China was discipline. And I believe if we really want to develop the Gambia, we have to start from there.
As a continuation of this cultural exchange, the Flex Fusion Dance Group is scheduled to travel to China next month to represent the Gambia. Their performance will be one of the main highlights of the growing cultural partnership between the two countries. Through the China-Gambia Youth Bantaba initiative, China is reaffirming its commitment to inclusive development and youth empowerment in the Gambia. Osman Jata, QTV News.
Now, following the appearance of former Brikama Area Council Chairman Sirifo Sonko before the Local Government Commission of Inquiry over the alleged mismanagement of over $33 million earmarked for development in mining-affected communities in the West Coast region, former Brikama Area Council CEO Modu Jonga also appeared today to provide his account regarding the missing funds. Yafatu Gay has the details.
Modu Jonga, who served as CEO of the Brikama Area Council from 2019 to 2024, appeared before the Local Government Commission of Inquiry as one of the 3 former senior officials of the council, summoned over the suspected mismanagement of more than $33 million in geology funds intended for community development projects. The other 2 senior officials summoned being former Chairman Sirifo Sonko and former CEO Mamsed Jallo. The funds in question were disbursed between May 2020 to June 2023. During his testimony on Monday, former Chairman Sirifo Sonko admitted to major lapses in oversight and accountability during his time in office, at one point stating that he was unaware of certain withdrawals from the fund and shifted the responsibility to the CEO's office. As the inquiry continued, the lead counsel pressed Modu Jonga for details about the council's withdrawal processes and the extent of Mr. Sonko's involvement. Mr. Jonga clarified that, although the chairman was not always directly involved in smaller payments, all major community project transactions were routed through and approved by the chairman's office. When asked specifically whether Mr. Sonko was aware of and involved in the disbursement of the $33 million geology fund, Mr. Jonga stated that he had informed the chairman when the funds began arriving. However, the gaps between formal processes and actual accountability practices remain a concern for the Commission. Jonga elaborates.
What would be the determinant factor in informing the chairman? Is it the amount that's involved or is it on interest based?
No, it will be the amount, first the amount involved, because, example, most of these payments for communities, the requests will pass through his office, and then he will refer these requests to the office of the CEO.
On Monday, during Sirifo Sonko's testimony, the Commission revealed that only $3 million out of the $33 million geology fund was disbursed. Former Brikama Area Council CEO Modu Jonga explained that only 3 out of 7 wards submitted the required proposals and received funds, admitting that no follow-up was made with the remaining wards. Modu Jonga stated that an estimated balance of $21 million from the fund was used to settle some of the council's bank loans and finance certain projects.
There was a payment of $62,400 that was paid to Tauto Village.
To?
Tauto Village within Jabang Ward. This was 2nd July 2021.
Where's the voucher?
I do not have the voucher now, but I can provide the,
okay.
the
Is this in relation to the mining activities?
Well, it's for extension of water supply.
No, is it in relation to the mining activities? Is it in relation to the water development for the mining activities?
No, that's why I was saying there are additional payments
that are not related to the purpose of the geology fund.
Yes, exactly.
Good.
As the testimonies continue, the Commission seeks to uncover the financial and administrative practices of local councils across the Gambia from 2018 to 2023. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
Now, the National Human Rights Commission, in partnership with UNESCO, convened a stakeholder forum on Wednesday to discuss the findings of a follow-up study on hate speech and examine its growing prevalence in the Gambia. Yafatu Gay again.
Hate speech refers to any spoken, written, or online communication that triggers individuals or groups based on attributes such as tribe, religion, race, gender, or identity. It can ignite discrimination, fuel conflict, and deepen social divisions. The dialogue brought together community leaders, civil society actors, traditional elders, and religious figures to delve into the root causes, patterns, and impacts of hate speech, a trend increasingly linked to tribalism, political tension, and religious misunderstanding, and to participate in validating the report. The event follows a previous similar engagement with religious and traditional leaders to foster inclusive conversations on how best to counter narratives that ignite division and fuel hostility. Speaking on behalf of UNESCO, Madam Fatou Ndiaye of the Gambian National Commission for UNESCO stressed the importance of the follow-up study in understanding how hate speech is spreading in the Gambia and ways to tackle it.
This follow-up study offers a unique opportunity to assess the impact of previous recommendations, identify evolving patterns to enhance the strategy of safeguarding our continuous value. It also invites us here today to listen deeply to those affected and ensure that responsive and are not only legal policies driven, but also empathetic and locally grounded.
In the Gambia, hate speech is an increasing concern, particularly on social media platforms. A 2024 study by the National Human Rights Commission, with support from UNESCO, revealed that ethnic and religious groups are frequently targeted. A recent follow-up assessment confirmed a troubling rise in such rhetoric, especially during political debates and online discussions, often fueled by young people and influential figures. Janaba Jom, the Vice Chairperson of NHRC, further elaborates.
When the report is presented to you today, you will see findings that will bring out new manifestation of hate speech, while also supporting the findings of the 2024 report.
Madam Jom reaffirmed the NHRC's commitment to protecting and promoting human rights of all citizens.
That we will continue to be vigilant towards threats which may impede the enjoyment of human rights within the country.
Hate speech poses a serious threat to national unity by fueling divisions, igniting violence, and marginalizing vulnerable groups. It erodes democratic values, spreads fear and misinformation, tarnishes the country's international image, and undermines public trust in institutions. As hate speech continues to threaten social cohesion and democratic stability in the Gambia, the forum served as a critical step towards building collective awareness, fostering inclusive dialogue, and promoting coordinated action. Stakeholders reaffirmed their commitment to countering harmful narratives and advancing a culture of tolerance, unity, and respect for all diversity. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
And I'm afraid this is where we draw the curtains on this bulletin, but do join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Until then, thanks for watching.